heart stunned because it was a lie. I clenched my fists under the table, biting my tongue as my lawyer dismantled every single one of their claims. The judge barely entertained most of their arguments. There was no proof of fraud, no evidence that my father had even attempted to move the trust into her name. But Claire was smart. She had one last trick up her sleeve, a letter, a so-called final note from my father, supposedly written in his last days. It was simple, just a short handwritten note. To my beloved Claire, everything I have is yours. I want you to have it all. It wasn't signed, it wasn't notarized, it wasn't even dated, but it was enough to stall the case, enough for the judge to call for further investigation. And suddenly, I was in real trouble. The secret in the ink, I had my doubts from the start. My father was old school, he rarely wrote anything by hand if he could avoid it. And even if he had written a letter like that, there's no way he wouldn't have signed it. I hired a forensic document examiner. If Claire had faked that letter, I was going to prove it. And guess what? She did. The ink was fresh, too fresh for a letter supposedly written over a year ago. Even better, the handwriting wasn't quite right, it was close but had small inconsistencies, a rushed copy, a poor imitation of my father's usual writing. The moment I